All right, we're back with another UFC card, and this time it's a big card. Hopefully, it's a good card on paper. Let's hope it lives up to the hype. Let's pray. Let's pray that we get some violent finishes, some violent fights, and we get a lot of fun. We got Nico Price versus Jacoby Smith. I'm going to be going with Jacoby Smith to get this one done by KO. I think he is going to absolutely destroy Nico Price. Nico Price, he's just very much past his prime, unfortunately. I really like Nico Price. Uh, how could you hate Nico Price? But he got ragdolled by Femba Garimbo. He beat Alex Moreno, that was a good win, but before that, gets knocked out by Robbie Lawler, knocked out by Phil Rowe. Has a very horrible fight against Alex Oliveira. Michelle Pahea beats him. He's just taken a lot of damage his last couple of fights. And I think his chin's gone a little bit, so I think Jacoby Smith will get him out of there. Jacoby Smith, super athletic, very good wrestler. Like, he is a wrestler, but he's got fucking bricks in his hands. He can just ragdoll Nico Price if he needs to. Femba Garimbo did it. I think Jacoby Smith is much better everywhere than Femba Garimbo, to be honest with you. Yeah, so I'll go Jacoby Smith. Then we got Alvin Hines versus Jahunta Dinez. This is very interesting because I don't know how to pick this fight because we don't know anything really about Alvin Hines. Yes, he's undefeated, but I don't know. This is really, really tough to predict for Jahunta Dinez. He's just a pure striker, going up against like a guy who seems like very well rounded. So it's like, how do I predict this fight? Because Alvin Hines might just be able to ragdoll Dinez. That's a very big worry here for me. Because he does seem to be a bit more of a grappler. He does have knockouts, of course, but if he really wants to, he could just go to the wrestling approach. And that worries me. That really worries me here, because we've seen Dinez doesn't really have the best takedown defense in his fights. He did beat Carl Williams, but Carl Williams didn't shoot in that fight. Marcin Tybura took him down. Like, ground and pound, Americana. Like, he is just winning these fights with his wrestling, and as long as he doesn't go in there high kicking at Jahunta Dinez, I'm actually going to take him here. I'm actually going to take Alvin Hines. Maybe I'll regret this, but I don't know. I like the fact that he grapples. Let's look at Dinez's the guys he's beat, and this is short notice as well. Justin Tuffer wasn't going to shoot on him. He is going to get shot on here. Austin Lane was ragdolling him before he chinned him. So he did come back, but like when he gets taken down, he's stuck there. He doesn't know how to get back up. Marcin Tybura destroyed him on the ground. This was a vintage Marcin Tybura performance. I picked Marcin Tybura, by the way, just to put it out there. Like, we haven't seen Marcin Tybura have a performance like that since he fought Walt Harris in 2021, man. Like that. This is the level we're talking. I'm going to go Alvin Hines. If he's smart, he will grapple here. He shouldn't go out there and try and stand and bang with Jahunta Dinez. And if he does, go fight the right fight, then he is going to win. So I'm going to go Alvin Hines by ground and pound TKO. I think he's going to be able to take him down. He's going to be able to beat him up. Moving on up, we have Cedric Dumas versus Jackson McVoy. Wow, Jackson McVeigh, is the underdog. That is surprising to me. I went back and watched some tape on McVeigh, and I think he's very good. I actually think he's a very good fighter. I watched his last fight. I watched the fight against, I think it was Ben Fowler, or I also watched the Wakiz Williams fight, and then I watched a bunch of highlights on him. Very good jiu-jitsu, but he's very good in the clinch. His clinch is very, very good. This guy really works the body in the clinch, really works the knees. He's very tall. I think he's actually, he's going to be the taller man. He's still at a reach disadvantage, but he's very powerful. And Cedric Dumas is just not very good. I'm so very surprised that you could make this guy a favorite. Destroyed by Michelle Olachechik. Looked like he was shitting himself from the beginning of the bell. Dennis Tuyululin was a horrible performance. He got destroyed by an assault on Ruzabayev. Ruzabayev did poke him in the eyes, so that is fair enough. But Abu Azaitar arguably won that fight, in my opinion. Like I gave it to Dumas, but it was a very close, very horrible performance. And then he got guillotined, choked by Josh Frem. Now that win against Matesh Panaz is insane in hindsight. I don't know how he managed to fluke that one. Like obviously it's not an actual fluke, but the fact I think Panez beats Dumas most times out of 10, and then the guy just doesn't train. I mean, his camp has literally been him hiding in crates and him avoiding fucking prison. Like I can't imagine this guy's fully training while McVeigh literally fought like a week ago. 2 weeks ago. Like yeah, 15 days or something ago. I don't know. I'm not going to do the math right now, but he's active. He's an active fighter. He's big. He's rangy. I think he's going to be able to either submit or knock out Dumas. I could see a club and sub submission here by McVeigh. Dumas is not focused as on being a fighter, so I'm going to go with Jackson McVeigh, who actually seems like he's pretty disciplined. So I'm going to go with Jackson McVeigh by stoppage, and I cannot believe he's an underdog. I watched the tape. I really don't understand it. Dumas, he's taken so much damage. He doesn't have a chin. He's there to be submitted. Yeah, I'm going to go McVeigh. Then we have Terrence McKinney versus Vlashev Borshev. This seems like it is a matchup they're really trying to get Terrence McKinney a win with. I am going to go Terrence McKinney. I do think he will win this, but Slavoclaus isn't too bad. Like, people forget, man. Like, he isn't that bad. Like, he's a very good striker. He could definitely just knee Terrence McKinney in the head when he shoots a takedown. That is always going to be something. Terrence McKinney's fucking head just always manages, his chin always manages to get kneed, and he gets put out cold by it. But Borshev, I think, will just get ragdolled around. He's worked a lot on his takedown defense. He has looked better, but McKinney is a very good wrestler. Now, if he doesn't get a submission in the first round, it could get tough. Like, we could see Borshev just break him a little bit, because McKinney wrestles hard early. He will gas, and if he gasses, then Borshev is going to be able to just knock him out. But I'm going to go McKinney here. Not super, super confident, but I think it's a good stylistic matchup. Then we have Tracy Cortez versus Vivian Ariatu. Ariashu. I didn't think she beat Karine Silva. She lost to Natalia Silva. She beat Jennifer Maia, but she lost to Amanda Ribas, Alexa Grasso. She's very, very hard to predict, and I just hate picking women's fights. Tracy Cortez, I think, is coming off the loss to Rose Namajunas, but I think Cortez is actually not that bad. She did beat Jasmine Vicious, which is a very good win when you think about it. Like, she destroyed is maybe, an overstatement. Maybe for an exaggeration. Well, she did beat up Jasmine Vicious. She beat her. And I'll just pick Tracy Cortez here. I just hope her eyelashes don't get knocked off again. Then we have Hyder Emil versus Jose Delgado. Why is Hyder Emil always being an underdog? I'm always just gonna pick Hyder. If I see Hyder Emil as an underdog, I gotta get on him. Delgado's good. Don't get me wrong, but he beat Conor Matthews. Let's calm it down a little bit. Hyder Emil's on a bit of a run at the moment. He's a bit older, but he's a good fighter, man. Like, he's a very good fighter. He will just keep pushing forward. He's got a good chin on him. He's very durable. Puts on a good pace. And, like, he's got some good wins. He beat William Gomez. He beat Lee. Lee's not, like, the greatest, but he just went in there, destroyed him. Fernie Garcia. Fernie Garcia's not great, but he's the only one to finish Fernie Garcia. That's got to count for something, right? Jenny Newson couldn't do it. Highstand couldn't do it. Rinya Nakamura couldn't do it. Hyder Emil, he managed to do it. He managed to finish him. I go Hyder Emil here. I think he'll be able to beat Delgado just by breaking him a little bit. Not that I'm saying Delgado's a quitter or anything. I just think the cardio, the pressure and pace will be too much, and Hyder Emil will be able to win this. Then we have Jack Hermanson versus Gregor Rodriguez. Jack Hermanson looked very good against Joe Pyfer. Very good. But I just think this is a tough stylistic matchup for him here. Gregor Rodriguez is powerful, and we know again Jack Hermanson besides Pfeiffer, he doesn't really do very well against power punches. Uh, Jared Cannonier found the chin. Thiago Santos found the chin. Even Marvin Tori dropped him. Like, I think that he will get finished here. I think that Gregor Rodriguez will be able to catch Jack Hermanson at some point in this fight and finish him. But Hermanson did look very improved. Don't get me wrong, but I just think Gregor Rodriguez's power. He's got very good jiu-jitsu himself. It'll be very hard for Jack Hermanson to impose his game, and if this fight just stays on the feet, I think Gregor Rodriguez can beat him. Now, Gregor Rodriguez has a very worrying chin, but I don't think Hermanson's the guy to go out there and knock him out. And that being the case, I'm going to go Gregor Rodriguez to win over Jack Hermanson. Gregor Rodriguez just seems to do very good as well against very career middleweights. People who haven't fought at other weight classes. Taller, bigger guys. The bigger you are, like the better Gregor Rodriguez seems to do. He just seems to do very bad against smaller middleweights. I know Jared Cannonier used to fight at heavyweight, but he's like a shorter guy. And he still managed to drop Jared Cannonier twice in that fight. That was a very impressive performance. Even with a loss, he just gassed out and got destroyed. All right, then we got Peyton Talbot versus Felipe Lima. I'm going to go Felipe Lima here. I really like Jungle Boy as a prospect. He's got some very good wins. He's got very serviceable striking, and he's a very good grappler at the same time. Now, I read somewhere that Peyton Talbot apparently he got hit in the equilibrium when he fought Barcelos, and that's why his takedown defense was like 0. But I'm going to trust in Felipe Lima here. I think he'll be able to mix up the striking well. Peyton Talbot is both defensively not got the best striking defense, and his takedown defense looked a bit sus. And I think Felipe Lima will be able to exploit that. I think he'll be able to land big shots. Talbot's got a very good chin, but I think Lima will be able to get the wrestling going. Maybe even latch up a submission. Nick Aguirre was able to wrestle Peyton Talbot around, but eventually got gassed out. I think Felipe Lima's got much better cardio. He's much better than Nick Aguirre, and I think he'll get it done. So I'm going to go Felipe Lima. Then we have Beneil Dariush versus Renato Moicano. And I've said it when this fight was booked a couple months ago, and I'll say it again. I'm going with Beneil Dariush. I'm not just changing because Renato Moicano lost to... I'm not just saying because he lost to Islam Makhachev. Like, that would be very stupid. That would be very silly. No, I'm predicting Beneil Dariush to win this because he's a nightmare matchup, I feel like. Could he just get chinned? Maybe. Maybe he could. But Moicano doesn't really chin people. He's got very good striking, but he doesn't really chin people. He always goes for the submission, but he's not going to be able to wrestle Beneil Dariush. Dariush's takedown defense is very, very good. He's got great takedown defense. He's powerful, and he's got good cardio. So I'm gonna trust in Beneil Dariush here to beat Renato Moicano. I think he's going to be able to stuff the takedowns, land big shots, and I think he'll maybe win a decision here over Renato Moicano. So I'm going to go Beneil Dariush to get this one done. Then we got Brandon Royval versus Joshua Van. Ooh, this is a tough one as well. This is very tough. Ooh, who do I go here? Huh? I'm going to go Brandon Royval. Joshua Van is very good. Don't get me wrong, he is very good. I think he will be up there in the top 5 one day. But I just don't think today, this weekend will be that day. I think this is a tough fight. Brandon Royval has proven himself time and time again. He'll keep being doubted, but he will just keep winning. If your name isn't Alexandre Pantoja, he will just keep beating you. And I think he's going to win this fight. I think his long, rangy style, he's very tall. I think that's going to give Joshua Van some problems. Van doesn't seem to do good against the lankier guys. I think Royval being much longer, he's going to be able to get some big uppercuts off, some big shots. He's going to put on a pace in this fight. Van's coming in on short notice. He did technically, he fought a couple of weeks ago. He's fighting back-to-back pay-per-views. But I just think Royval is going to be able to get this one done. He's going to be able to, he could club and sub. I think he's got so many opportunities to win this. He's so underrated. People forget, man. Brandon Royval, he's an absolute marauder. And I think he will be able to win this fight. I really do, Back-to-back split decisions are crazy. He clearly beat Tyra. He clearly beat Moreno. Beat Nicolau. Beat Schnell. beat Bontaran, beat Kai Kara France, beat Tim Elliott. Like he's got some very, very good wins. And I think he's gonna win this one too. So I'm gonna go Brandon Royval to get this one done over Joshua Van. Maybe not the prediction people want to hear because I know everyone's a big Joshua fan right now, but I just think this is a tough match. Like because we've seen Joshua Van, the guys he struggled against in his career. Obviously lost to Charles Johnson, long rangey guy. Edgar Chairez gave him a very tough time. He's a very lanky guy as well. Might actually have a very similar build to Royval, similar reach. He gave him a very tough time, dropped him. It was looking very bad for Joshua Van in that fight at points. Uh, yeah, I really like this fight for Brandon Royval. So I'm gonna go Brandon Royval to get this one done. I'll probably say probably decision. I think he'll hurt Joshua Van at some points, maybe get close submissions, and he'll win a decision. 29-28. I don't think Joshua Van will just get completely wiped out. I think he will have his moments, but maybe like the third round he starts pushing a pace. Maybe he starts landing some shots a bit better, but it's a little bit too late. But I will go Brandon Royval to get this one done. Then we have Alexandre Pantoja versus Kai Kara France. And I'm doing it. I'm doing it, man. I'm picking Kai Kara France. This is a tough matchup for Pantoja. Now, people are going to keep mentioning, well, Pantoja already beat Kai Kara France. He's going to destroy him. It was an exhibition, and it was a bullshit. It was a bullshit fight, right? This was absolute horse manure. It only went 2 rounds. Kai Kara France clearly won the second round. I don't know why this didn't go to a third round, but Kai Kara France was like stuffing every takedown, even back then, and he was much younger then. This was a couple years ago. I know obviously both men have improved. This was in 2016. This was almost 10 years ago. But he has improved so much, and his grappling defense was already, enough to stuff the takedowns and everything from Pantoja then. Now I think he's even better suited. He's very powerful. I don't think he's going to be able to finish Pantoja, he's got one of the best chins in the UFC. Like, I'm not arguing that Kai Kara France is going to go out there and knock him out. No. I'm not silly. I just think that Kai Kara France is going to be able to stuff takedowns, land big shots. He's going to just, I don't know. I see this looking very similar to the Figueiredo fight, to the Figueiredo versus Pantoja. I think he's just going to be able to stuff the takedowns, land big shots, maybe drop Pantoja, but Pantoja will survive. He's got a very good chin. He's just, I don't know. I just see him just being able to stuff the takedowns. Pantoja will maybe have more success on the feet than people maybe think just because he crashes forward, but he gasses out every fight. Kai Kara France has good cardio. Should have beat Albazi very, very clearly. Beat Steve Erceg in the first round. Very impressive win. And I think Kai Kara France is going to be able to beat Pantoja. I know, crazy. People probably going to call me biased. Even though I'm not fucking Kiwi, I'm Australian. People are going to call me biased. I'm not biased towards Kiwis, all right? Maybe you can argue I might be biased. I try not to be, but people can argue I'm maybe biased towards Aussie because I have no allegiance to New Zealand. I just think Kai Kara France is really going to get this one done. So I'm going to go Kai Kara France by decision over Alexandre Pantoja. Then we have Ilia Topuria versus Charles Do Bronx Oliveira. I'm going Ilia Topuria, right? But it is worth mentioning this fight is so much closer than every single one of you people is making it out to be. People are acting like Charles Oliveira doesn't have a shot in this fight. I don't think Ilia Topuria should be a minus 420 favorite. I just don't think he should be a heavy favorite in this fight like that. I think it should be more of a slight favorite because there are so many questions we do not know about Ilia Topuria as a lightweight contender. There is just so many questions we don't know. We don't know so much about Ilia Topuria as a lightweight. We know so much about him as a featherweight. But we've seen he struggled a little bit against Jai Herbert, the kicks and everything like that, the range. That's like one of the most competitive fights he had was against Jai Herbert, who, for better or worse, to be nice, is a lightweight journeyman. He's a guy who's lost quite a lot to a lot of guys. And Ilia Topuria had a bit of a tough time with him. But that is just maybe just a tough matchup for him because I think there's like I think Jai Herbert has like a 10-inch reach advantage, is like 8 inches taller. Like it is just a crazy, crazy physical build for a guy like Ilia Topuria. He doesn't have to deal with that with a guy like Charles Oliveira, who's apparently 5'10", but I believe that Charles Oliveira is more like 5'11". I think he's a bit taller than 5'10". He's a lanky guy though. He's got a big reach. I think Charles Oliveira is going to like try and start a bit of a faster fight because both of these guys are slow starters. But I do think Charles Oliveira is going to just try and push a bit more of a pace in this fight early. He's just going. I think he's going to work the clinch early. I think he's going to go to the fire a little bit. You know, he's going to fight. I think he's going to come with a very similar approach that he had against Dustin Poirier. Going to go to the clinch, knee to the body, knee to the body. You know, elbow over the top. I think he's going to fight very similar to that. But I think he is going to end up getting caught. I don't think he'll get finished in the first round. I think the first round will be a bit of a war. They're going to go back and forth, land big shots. But then I think eventually we're going to get Ilia Topuria just landing a good body head combo that's going to TKO or knock out cold Charles Oliveira. Now, it is worrying that Mark Goddard is the referee here because Charles Oliveira might just get knocked down and then Mark Goddard might just stop it a couple times. Like, he might just fall down and do that thing he does to, like, recover. He's like, oh, yeah, come in my guard, you know, like, Charles the Bronx, come on my God. You know, he does that little thing where he falls down, where he might not actually be that hurt, but he might just do that, like, 3 times in the round and Mark Goddard might just stop it, which would be very annoying, but I'm going to go Ilia Topuria. I think he is going to be able to TKO and finish Charles Oliveira, but this is so much closer than you people are giving this fight credit to. This isn't just going to be a one-round walloping from Ilia Topuria. He has had fights where he isn't just winning the whole time. He gets a lot of these fights against Alexander Volkanovski. He lost the first round. He was losing until he got the knockout. Against Max Holloway, I thought Max Holloway was up before he got the knockout. Maybe I was wrong on that. Maybe I need to rewatch that fight. But I thought Max Holloway was doing very good before he got knocked out. Ilia Topuria isn't like the perfect fighter where he's just winning the fight the whole time, unless it's Josh Emmett. But like, you know, Josh Emmett just has an overhand and a double leg. You know, he does struggle sometimes. You know, he does find the finishes, and that's what makes him so special. But this could be a tough fight before Ilia Topuria gets the knockout. That's all I'm saying. Could even see like a knockdown into a arm triangle, which would be quite the homage to Islam Makhachev. Literally, that's how he won the lightweight championship. But I guess we'll see what happens. But anyway, that's my prediction on this card. UFC 317, Ilia Topuria versus Charles Oliveira. But let me know who you guys have winning these fights. And I'm very, very excited for this card. I think this card's going to be an absolute banger. I think there's going to be some really good fights. I'm hoping Dumas gets knocked out. I'm hoping yeah, that's pretty much all I'm hoping for him. I'm hoping Cedric Dumas gets knocked out cold. You know, he's a fucking criminal. The guy is actually a criminal, so I'm just going to put that out there. I know, like, the guy just, I don't know, there's getting a chance and, you know, oh yeah, people learn, you know, at least he's turned his life around. But the guy's still, like, doing criminal stuff as a UFC fighter, so let's go. I'm going to be a Jackson McVeigh fan, very big fan if he goes out there and puts Cedric Dumas out cold. I'm hoping, like, double knockdowns, beats him up badly, late stoppage. That's what I'm hoping for. But we'll see what happens. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Make sure you subscribe, put on notifications, like this video if you're not already. Put on notifications, and I will see you guys next time. Thank you so much for watching. See you guys next time. Like I say, goodbye.